Welcome to Rooted in Design. In this episode, we'll talk about combining edge with timelessness. We listen to different perspectives in the field and uncover how interiors can be shaped in such a way that they combine timelessness with a fresh perspective.
Rooted in connection. Rooted in design. Rooted in nature. Rooted in craftsmanship. Rooted in innovation. Join us and explore the spirit of wood. Welcome to Rooted In, a Decospan podcast.
All right, welcome. I'll first introduce my guest of today in this episode. I have Carine Riezebos, industrial designer and known at Decospan through her collaboration BLOK Design by Carine with our partner BLOK Panels, located in the Netherlands. I have Hechtermans, marketing and sales director at Chiyoda Europe. And then Séverine Vandekerckhove, head of specification at Decospan. Welcome, ladies. I am Anneleen. I'm head of digital marketing at Decospan. Intrigued by creativity, creative minds, and also since working at Decospan by design. So I'm very happy to sit together with you today to talk about a specific topic, design, and how to combine timelessness with edge, how to add a fresh perspective, but still have that timeless feel that every designer is looking for. Before diving into that, I want to give each of you a short introduction yourself. Carine, we came in touch with you through collaboration. Can you share in a few sentences what that collaboration with BLOK is all about and your relationship with Decospan?
Yes. Well, welcome. My name is Carine and I'm the chief creative for BLOK Plaatmateriaal. We started working together 7 years ago. And the role I have is that I bring creativity into the company in a way that is known by our customers, by our manufacturers, and by our own people. Yeah. So this is the main thing which I do over there.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
Yes,
welcome.
It's a really nice job. Yes, thank you.
But you're a designer yourself and you bring in that creativity for BLOK.
Yes, I'm a designer myself. So I started designing 25 years ago, mainly in glass because I really love materials. So the glass was my first love. And after that, I started working in also metals and in wood. And nowadays I design in all kind of materials.
Okay, yes. Including wood veneer?
Wood veneer, of course. Also,
very good.
yes.
Very good. Anne, thank you for being present as well.
Thank you for having me.
You're marketing and sales director at Chiyoda. Can you tell us a little bit more about what the company is all about?
So Chiyoda actually creates wood patterns and wood designs, not only wood, but also abstracts and stones. And we print them on a substrate. That's mainly paper substrate, but we also use some other substrates such as PVC or PP films. So we try our best to recreate nature as good as possible.
Okay. It's a different perspective for us because, of course, we are all about wood veneer. But it's interesting to have you here and to also understand what your thoughts are in the world of design because you're very experienced in that context.
A little bit, with the help of others, of course.
All right, great to have you here.
Thank you.
And then we have, of course, Séverine, who is our head of specification at Decospan. Specification, Séverine, can you tell us a little bit more on the what, where, how?
Yes, a difficult term. No, first of all, I'm so happy to be here with you three passionate ladies. I also am very passionate also regarding architects, and that's mainly our focus. We started advising architects on how to specify wood veneer because it can get complex for architects. Yes. So you have a lot of different wood species, a lot of different slicing and jointing techniques, and we see that architects struggle with that sometimes. And guiding them through that process and through that material choice is really valuable for Decospan. And we grew in that process as well. We started in Belgium, of course, where our roots are. And then we became more mature in France, the Netherlands, UK. So we are moving on and we are getting better and better in what we do and better in guiding architects towards the thing that they have in mind.
Yes. Yeah.
They like to execute, and that's what we help them with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Thanks. It's ladies' power in this podcast.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So let's dive into it. We talk about timeless design, but what is that? What does that mean? Maybe Carina, can you start from a designer's perspective?
From a designer's perspective, for me, it is more the love for the materials. So, when I started as a child, then I really loved materials. So if I look at that, then for me, that is really important. The connection which you have to material. For me as a child, material was always something which I thought was like a human being. So it's for me very human. So I also want to try to add that always to design. So this is what it is for me.
Timeless design.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. What do you think, Séverine? What's your perspective?
For me, timeless design is just very much rooted into simplicity. Clear lines, very fluent, nice details, but not so shouty.
Okay.
I think the real success of timeless design is when it doesn't reveal its age.
Okay.
When it stands the test of time, when it doesn't bore you, then I believe a good design, it's powerful.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's really powerful also in the way that you can add craft to it. I think that is also some ingredients which makes it for me always like over time when you can add the craft to something.
Yeah.
So especially with wood, of course, you have the memories of people who are working in wood and which give you a special feeling or a special emotion. And the moment when you bring this back into your design, it gets the time frame is getting into the design. So that makes it really interesting, I think.
Yeah. Yes.
Really true. Yeah.
Almost your perspective on that?
For me, timeless design is something that fits into every culture, something that comes back, something that is similar. I believe we all have different tastes. Every culture has its specific taste. Every culture has a specific view on what timeless is. But something that fits into a room in every single culture and in every single country is what timeless is for us. So we would search for something that would fit everywhere and then decorate it in a way that it would go with that specific culture.
Yeah. I think that also brings us to the challenge as well, because what you're mentioning in every culture, I think that's a huge challenge. I think we all know that design and the way that people look at design and what is liked is quite different if you look in different countries. Also at Decospan, we already noticed that. Can you maybe elaborate a little bit on that, Séverine? How do you see those differences?
Again, I think timeless design is about simplicity. And for me, in every culture, simplicity is there. Like the clean lines, really careful details, that makes it timeless.
Yeah, but do you see a difference if you look at different cultures in the usage of, for example, in our context, wood veneer, the kind of looks that they like? Is there a difference there?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, for sure. Because, in every region you have locally, colors which go better. For example, in the Netherlands, we have colors which you would use better in Groningen than you use them in Maastricht. So
even in the Netherlands?
Even in the Netherlands, there is a big difference with kind of colors designers pick out of our collection. So I really agree with that it is like a cultural thing also, even just in the Netherlands. And you can play with that, of course, and that's the beauty of it, that you can, make the base, which is like really timeless and clean, and then combine it with elements which are maybe locally more preferred for clients.
Yes.
So this is how you can make it even better and nicer for the customer.
Yes.
So that's really interesting. Yeah.
maybe diving into the second part of the topic of the podcast, because we're talking about timelessness, and we're all quite agreeing on what that exactly is. But then it's about also adding an edge. You were talking about boring already in the first part, because the last thing that you want to do as a designer is create boring designs.
Oh,
right?
no. Well, some people want to create boring.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's really true. And they are also very successful with that. So it's just a point of view, I think, what is boring and what is not.
Yes.
But it's more like the storytelling which you can put into the design which you make.
Yes.
So, for example, the boring collection of Lans Lensfeld was very successful. So I think it can be interesting. But the thing is that the moment if you're looking for something to add or to etch something to your design, then it's a very personal thing. And for example, for me, I always had the idea of bridging the gap between art and appliance. So I always wanted to use the art and the storytelling of the art into my designs, because it felt better for me if there was another layer in a design. So for me, it's something like that, to add the edge to it. But I can imagine that for some other designers, there are the things like sustainability, or just the colors which they can add, or just another material which you can add, which always makes a design more interesting, I think.
Yes.
So,
But do you recognize a challenge combining timelessness with edge? Or isn't that for you a real challenge?
For me, it's not a real challenge. For me, it's a daily life, to be honest. So, because I'm always trying to look for the edge of the things, even. And I think also at Decospan, you're trying to do that, because you are re-engineering your collection also all the time. So you have the veneers, but you are also trying to engineer them in a way that the human touch is also in the nature touch. So you combine them together.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think for me, it's nothing. Not something I would not do.
Yeah. We're talking about engineer. Séverine, you want to
No,
add
I was
something?
thinking about the comparison with fashion. If I look at my wardrobe, 20% is like the fashionable stuff.
Yeah.
You have the
80%, and 80% is about the investment pieces with the nice
the
fabrics,
basics.
the
good material,
the good material, the nice details, and you wear them. You keep on wearing them, and you add
That's a
the
good
fashion
comparison.
design.
Yes.
I like to see it like that. And you
Fashion is always
art,
way ahead,
it can
you
be
know.
fashion. That's where I
that's
keep
really
my,
true.
my inspiration.
Yeah. You were talking about engineering already. That brings me also to Chiyoda again, because there's also a part in technology, I think, that can also have an influence on, I think, the designs and maybe the applications that you're using. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit more?
Well, we always start from natural material. If it's textile, if it's wood, in this case, let's more elaborate on wood. If it's wood, then we would go from there. We would scan an actual piece of wood and then take some imperfections out, which is what is part of nature. We've seen a trend lately that says, okay, let's keep those imperfections that nature in there
Gives us,
Definitely. Yeah.
And is that the edge that everyone is looking for? No. But is it the edge that every company needs to stand out and to be successful in the market? Absolutely. Yeah. So in our business, it is important to find that edge, which is not always easy to find.
Yeah.
But it is necessary as to create your brand identity. It is necessary to also feed your creative mind. I mean, it is necessary for us to find that edge.
And it's also sometimes difficult, isn't it, to explain it, because people want things to be explained in language.
Yeah.
But this is so much connected to feelings and to emotions, which I think it is good that we have more attention for that nowadays in the design and in the materials. You see the layers and the deeper patterns which we are trying to, or which you are trying to make. And this is really giving more value to the design or to the furniture or to the space, or it gives deeper layers.
I mean, for veneers, but also for our type of products, we've advanced so much. We always try to go to the next thing. We always try to develop, use resources that we're finding to better our products. If it's natural, if it's engineered, as we might say,
Yes.
we're always looking for ways to kind of do the next thing, take it further.
Yeah.
Yes.
In an environmental way,
Ingredient.
As well.
sustainability, those are
Yeah.
things that are very important. There are so many different ways of doing that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, great.
So still a lot of work to do on
Yes.
both sides, for sure.
Well, we're happy that you're doing it because then we can work with it. So thank you for that.
I liked also the angle of the imperfection, which you were just talking about. I think, Séverine, that's probably something that is perfectly applicable to what we're doing as well.
Of course, perfectly imperfect.
Yes.
That's what we
Yeah.
always say about wood veneer. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's just for me the natural materials in itself, not only wood veneer but natural materials. They just keep on living. The way light reflects to natural materials, it just makes them so amazing.
Yeah, it resonates.
It just changes
also
over
with you
time.
as a human being, isn't it?
Because there is a story behind it.
Yeah.
The tree might have been 100 years old and might have survived a war or drought.
And you
or,
always have the memory of the tree.
It
So,
keeps you-
this is something different with other materials maybe, but you always have the reminding of the tree also. So this is a good story behind
what's so
the material
powerful.
which is in your hands already.
Yes.
And then you can smell something, so all your senses can be used. So that's really nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe going into the edge again and the word trend, because we're talking about trends, and if definitely in the environment we are at today, it's also about trends. It's sometimes a dirty word, if I can say it like that. How do you look at that? Do we need to follow the trends?
Yeah. I was about to say I don't follow them, but I would lie. I do.
Then you would lie.
I do follow them. We all do a little bit. It's again the example of my wardrobe. I don't mind. I have 80% like the good investment pieces, and that's also like that in my interior. But I add the trends, like the 20% of color, structure, new things, and that's fine.
Because it makes you happy also, and it has also something to do that people want a little bit be the same, on the same level, and it says something about the time where you're living in. So repeating trends is also
Of course.
sometimes nice because you can reinvent them and play with them. So for me, to be honest, it's just really nice that they are there and that you can use them as tools,
As tools.
for to understand the world better in that way. Sometimes the world is really chaotic, and then you want quiet colors maybe, and the opposite around. So I think they're useful also as a language.
But trends is not always about color, structure, and so on. It can be about innovation. So in the end, we must
sustainability or psychological things which are happening in the world. There are a lot of trends.
Definitely.
Yeah.
How is Chiyoda looking at trends?
Well, we have to follow them.
Yes.
So we do develop based on trends, and that's mainly colors, textures, because we're catering to a large audience, again, in many different countries and many different cultures. So we do try to follow those trends, but they can be cultural trends. They can be political trends. It is so widespread these days that we try to take everything into account while we're developing a design. But it is seen as a strange word these days. We don't like to say that because everything is like intertwined, as we would say. So yes, we do look for trends, but it's a very wide a wide thing.
Isn't that then also about following them, curating them a little bit, and then putting them
together
parts?
and kind of we try to guide our customers into those directions where we say, okay, this is where we visited, this is what we've seen, and we feel these designs fit very well to that. But then often also creating some sense of timelessness in those. It's like you say, you can start with a really good basic and build from there.
Séverine, talking about this, is that also a little bit the role that Decospan is taking?
Of course.
Curating trends and then translating
Of
a
course.
few or maybe hints to...
Definitely.
Yeah. Can you think about an example, maybe?
I can. We saw that the trend was more like this year and the year before about the dark earthy tones, where it was like 5 to 10 years ago, black and white and all very blank in color. This reflects in our collections. Now you don't only have the lighter tones, but you also have the brown tones, the rich brown tones, also the earthy tones, like the red ones. So of course we try to bring them into collections and to make them also available towards architects and joiners. Yeah.
Brown is the new black.
Yes.
It is like that. And also the gray shades which you see in colors now are something that is really adding to the interiors and to all the things that designers or architect needs. So yes, I think it's interesting how Decospan works with these trends.
Yes.
Yeah.
We talked about materials already before. You talked about starting with glass.
Yeah.
What are, at this moment, your favorite materials to use?
Oh, well, glass is always my first love. So glass is the one thing where I really resonate with as a designer and as a person. But of course, all the other materials, which are really the natural ones, like the woods and the veneers, I really love them. So for BLOK, for example, I also designed a collection where we used all the black veneers and where we tried to make a collection so that architects can work immediately with that. So for me, the black veneers are really something. I really love them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've talked already a lot about timelessness, about trends. Is there already a conclusion how to combine timelessness with an edge?
Well, I think you have to stay close to your heart when you design and when you work with these materials, because then you will get the best out of them. And then it becomes timeless, especially for yourself, which is important, I think, but also for the customer. Then you can really give it as a present to the customer.
Okay.
I would do
That's
it
a
like
nice one.
that.
Okay. Séverine?
I was thinking about form and function, like a good dual thing between the two. And again, the rule of 80-20 is for me.
The rule of 80-20.
Yeah.
That's what we need to remember of the conversation.
Yes.
That's very practical.
Good rule.
Yes.
We will work with that.
Do you have
I feel like
a summary?
well, for me, still, it's like innovation and going further.
Yes.
So it is timelessness, but going further.
But I think also a key
finding
takeaway is innovation in the broader perspective, right?
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
not just one perspective. It's not just engineering. It's innovation in all kinds of ways. That is for me.
Yeah, as a human being, you
Yeah.
always want to innovate. You always want to go
Yeah.
further and go to the next.
Go further. Go to
Be
the next
curious
for
as
the
well.
result,
Be curious
but,
about indeed
Yeah,
what's
curiosity
new,
is a better
yes.
word.
Yeah.
Yeah, really true.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice. Good to hear.
All right. We're already approaching the end of the podcast.
really?
Yes. But it was already super interesting talking to you. However, maybe as a last ending question for our listeners, you are all three experts in design. So I'm curious to learn what or who would you advise our listeners to follow or are worth mentioning? Who wants to
that's a
start?
nice one.
Yes.
Yes.
I want to start.
Go ahead.
I would always say Irene Kool. She makes a Monkey Talk, a podcast. It's about creativity.
Oh,
and it
nice.
it's a very broad range of subjects. So you will find designers, social designers, but also politicians and people from all over the world. And they're all connected by creativity.
Oh,
I would
nice.
always recommend her.
Okay.
What was the
Alright.
name again?
Irene Kool from Monkey Talk.
Really cool.
Monkey Talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a pretty. There are so many interesting people in our field. I wouldn't go for the obvious. I mean, we have a very good consultant named Eva Hoenisch. She does a lot of design work in our field. She's an amazing person with a very good view of life. So I would recommend her in our field.
Wow. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Séverine?
I was thinking more about a platform, the local project. I don't know if you know it. I just love scrolling through it. It's just an architectural platform. But what I really, really love is that architecture blending with the environment. I think that's such a nice thing to see, because I was just thinking about it this week. There is a very beautiful home in my street, but it doesn't fit the environment.
Oh, wow.
And then I look at that platform and I see so many beautiful things. I think it's not just about the building, it's also about the environment. And that's what I like about this platform.
Okay.
Yes,
Great.
okay. It's a great example also to end with, because it also shows that you sometimes need to look at a broader perspective. Well,
Yeah.
we've actually also been
absolutely.
discussing the whole podcast long.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you for that.
It was a pleasure. I
it
liked
was a
it.
pleasure.
Yes.
When is the
Really
next
nice.
We should make it a series, maybe.
Yeah,
Before
let's-
ending, Carine, if they want to find more information about BLOK or about what you're doing as a designer, is there something that they can follow?
Yes, they can go to the blokplaatmateriaal.com site or the blokbycarina.com site, and then they will find everything.
Okay, great. Similar for Chiyoda, is there
Well,
anything you want to mention?
We have Chiyoda.be, and that's where you'll find all the products.
Okay, well then I'll go for Decospan because
You're the expert.
yes, of course. All information can be found on our website, on our brand websites as well. And surely I'd also like to advise you to follow us on our socials, particularly, of course, our podcast series on Spotify, but also our LinkedIn and Instagram, where we share all the latest and greatest. This was it. I hope to see you back, or to welcome you back in the next episode. And thanks again, ladies. It was lovely having you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for
Thank you
having
so
us.
much.